Good evening and welcome to TalkBack, the show where we ask tough, compelling questions from tough, compelling people. If newspaper columns were a community of nations, then our guest tonight would be a superpower. If criticism was a race, then he would be a forerunner. If reality was ever in doubt, then he would be its most ardent fact checker. Some call him just another critic. We call him the grand old man of Pakistani newspapers. Ardeshir Cowasjee, welcome to TalkBack. You wrote last year in an article called Pack Your Bags that all is not well for the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. What do you think?
All has never been well. Where were you 40 years ago? I'm asking you.
Well, I'm asking you. What do you think? Are things still straight up for Pakistan?
It's completely screwed up. Screwed up from the time Jinnah went. That's somewhere in 1948.
On the 13th of June 1999, you wrote, "Many people ask how and when and who will make Nawaz Sharif fall. I say, have faith in natural justice." This was a little before the coup of 99. So was the coup natural justice?
It was, in a way. Because the man, he's a good man, but a horrible prime minister.
Why are you such an ardent supporter of General Musharraf?
Well, he's the best of the worst lot.
What's that supposed to mean?
That's supposed to mean that if I see four in front of me and I have to choose who should lead me, I pick him not because he's the best of the best lot, but he can be the best of the worst lot.
But he's a military ruler.
He may be a military ruler, but he's a man.
In 2000, a year after the coup, almost a year after the coup, you requested in one of your columns, and you addressed General Musharraf and his generals, and you requested that a 10-year ban be placed on everybody who had held office between 88 and 99. Is that fair and balanced journalism?
It is. Because here we have, otherwise we keep on getting the same actors, the same fellows who made us rotten as we are. Just now, who are we looking at? Just now, who's in the field? There is Musharraf, he's there. Then Nawaz Sharif is trying a comeback. Benazir is trying a comeback. And if that man, the peer of London as I call him, if he can help it, he'd like a comeback.
You're referring to Altaf Hussain, but this is what you wrote in your column. You said it is imperative that Musharraf and his generals ensure by ordinance or constitutional amendment or otherwise that neither of these two elected leaders nor any of the men and women who acquiesced in the doings and were party to the enemies are allowed to hold any office of state for at least the next 10 years. What sort of journalism is this? What sort of writing is this? You're saying you're placing a 10-year ban. You're asking the president and his generals, very interestingly, to place a 10-year ban against people who could or could not be found guilty in a court of law. They haven't been proven guilty so far. But you're just asking them to prove,
nobody
to hold
will ever be proved guilty in our courts. These fellows are, you're not suggesting that these fellows are squeaky clean? They're as dirty as can be? When Benazir says that
when you, in one of the most widely read columns in the country, write that generals should place a ban on politicians for a decade, what sort of writing is that?
What sort of writing is that?
Is that fair and balanced journalism?
You cannot call it, but this is what I write.
No, it's not about this. It's about what I call it, sir. Is it fair and balanced according to you?
Yes, of course. If these fellows have been shot out, they were two goes. How long do you want the same people to mess up the same country again and again? How long do you think a country can resist? How resilient can the people be? How resilient can a country be? How resilient can the environment be? To just bear these fellows, these useless rotters, again and again and again?
But don't you think it's a little extreme that everybody, every man and woman between 88 and 99 should be disqualified for running from politics?
Those who run before. Not you. You could come in.
But isn't it the same? Aren't things exactly the same? Aren't we looking at the same characters emerge?
But if you entered politics, I'd say welcome.
Well, thank you. I take that. I take that as a compliment. But don't you think that the same characters have emerged?
The same characters have emerged because they haven't allowed anybody else to emerge. They've come, they've robbed.
Then where has all your backing gone? Why are you backing this guy?
Which guy?
The general.
Well, I'm backing him. As I say, he's the best of the worst lot under the circumstances. That is my considered opinion. And
all right, let's switch.
More, he hears that from me directly and doesn't send me to jail.
All right, let's switch gears. In 2001, you wrote in an article called "The Terrorists Within." You wrote for military courts. You wrote for the parallel judicial system which had been set up, military tribunals which had been set up especially to deal with the terror in Karachi.
How can you deal with terrorists otherwise?
Do you not believe in reforming the civilian court system?
I believe in refining, that is a possibility, but I don't believe in refining a terrorist.
No, but you wrote and you said, unlike the civil anti-terrorist courts, they consisted, you're talking about military courts, of not one judge, but a panel of judges who, although not well versed in the technicalities of criminal law, were strongly imbued with a desire to do substantial justice. Yes. So you are saying that military judges who are not qualified to deal with the law can deal with the law just because their agenda is better. They want to deal with the law. They want to. How can you defend military judges?
You keep on giving the benefit of doubt, as our justice system does, and as it must, to all these fellows. Today, with a straight face, Benazir Sahiba, as she is called, can say, I am coming back for the people. The people call me. The way she keeps on nodding her head like a cow's head. The democracy wants me. They are calling for me. And the people fall for that.
But this is not about the people.
I was for military tribunals to deal with terrorism, yes. Well, when a military court sits there, he's not a dodo, he's not meant to be a dodo. He may know a little bit less about judgments and justice and law, but he knows about terrorist law.
No, that's not his job, is it? It's not the job of a military officer to be a judge.
No, you can make him a judge. He's everything today, everything else today, so why can't he be a judge?
You don't think that the civil courts can be reformed?
Not possible. No, not the civil court. The terrorists can't be reformed. It's a man we have now, men who think that they do right by not just killing themselves, but taking 30 people with them. This is their belief.
We're talking to Ardeshir Cowasjee. You're watching TalkBack. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TalkBack. We are talking to Ardeshir Cowasjee. Mr. Cowasjee, you wrote in December 2001 in an article titled Resurrection that you wrote about President Musharraf and his army, that he has the most disciplined and organized party of the land, which gives him unrestrained backing. You are ratifying the claim that the general heads a political party, the army. As a journalist, don't you think that's a little irresponsible?
The army was a party. The army will remain a party in this country for a long time. You've got to live with it.
So you want to just live with it?
I don't want to live with the army forever, but we'll have to live with it, the way it's going just now.
Don't you think that's a rather unconstitutional claim, that the army is a political party?
What is constitutional and what is not constitutional? Who makes the constitution?
The people do.
People do. We are relying on the 1973 Constitution. Is that right?
That's right.
Right. You know, what was the life of that Constitution?
Well, according to your writings, 4 hours.
According to?
Your writings,
yes.
It's 4 hours.
4 hours.